Ask Reddit. Men of Reddit, what's the hardest thing to explain to women? Why I don't know what the fuck my best friend is up to in life, even after hanging out with him all day. We can hang out with other guys all day and not talk about anything personal or of substance. I think women tend to share more of this stuff with each other. What's going on in their relationships, career, etc., while guys tend to not share this kind of stuff with each other so often. We will every now and then. But a lot of time we tend to kind of keep things on the surface. I've just had so many of these kind of conversations. So how's Jeff doing? He's doing well. Is he still going out with Amanda? I actually don't know. Well, didn't you guys hang out all day? Yay. What did you talk about? Nothing really, just kind of whatever. Isn't he your friend? One of my best friends. I was at home, when my wife and her friends got home one day from the pub. They were all giving me funny looks and smirking. I asked what was going on. They at first refused to tell me. After a little while of prodding, one of them goes, "I heard all about your dick." And they all broke into laughter. I was a little taken by surprise but laughed and said something like, "Oh yay? Hopefully all good." And they laughed, and that was the end of it. After they left, I was like, "What the hell did you tell them?" And my wife responded by saying how she told her friends about our vigorous romps on our honeymoon in Mexico, apparently in great detail. We were there for a week and probably had sex about 3 times a day. We were both pretty sore when we got home. We had an all-inclusive, so we ended up getting day drunk and got pretty physical with each other as you do on a honeymoon. She was like, "Whatever, you probably tell your friends all about us when it's just the boys." I don't know about you guys, but the extent of what I ever say is usually a raised eyebrow and something like, "Aw yay booey." I have never once described my wife's body to a single one of my friends, nothing in detail about any of my sexual partners, from before my wife, and it blew her mind. Apparently girls talk in great detail about it, guys usually don't. And they assume we do, and we assume they don't. The fact that we can ride in a car with another man for 5 hours and not say a word drives my wife crazy, that we don't know every detail about everyone else in my life. When I mention I hung out with someone, my mom will ask what their wife does for a living and can't understand that it didn't come up in conversation. When you say, "Does this outfit look okay?" and we say, "Yes, you look stunning," and you reply, "Well, you would say that," half my brain thinks, "Please believe me because you do look stunning," and the other half thinks, "WTF did you ask me for if you aren't going to believe me?" Edit. Thanks for all the replies and upvotes, folks. Just woke up and noticed I had many replies. I should add that this was just a generic example. I do tell my wife she's as beautiful. I do say things like, "Yes, that color really suits you," to try and help put her mind at ease. We've been together for 20 plus years and are really strong together, so she knows I think she's amazing. Some of your replies really made me laugh. Cheers all, have a good day. I don't always want to be the one that initiates sex. It makes me feel like a creep. That just because I'm quiet in your presence doesn't mean I'm upset. Just means I'm either tired, don't have anything to say, or I'm thinking about something. You can pop a boner without being aroused. You can get a boner even when you are nervous. Why I have peed in my backyard is surprisingly high, her words, number of times. Sometimes an erection just happens. We don't control the thing, it's a physical response that could literally be from nothing. I have to constantly explain to my wife why my 2-year-old son is obsessed with his penis. I have to explain why he always wants to touch it and grab it when his diaper is off. She will never understand why our baby and his father share this habit. Edit. It seems I should have worded this a little differently. A lot of us aren't great at picking up hints. And hashtag X200B. Edit. Thanks for the silver P at an angle. That just because I'm a guy doesn't mean I don't care. I've had women talk to me about guys losing their hair. He's a guy, so he doesn't care. I know a lot of guys who hate being bald, or the fact that they are balding and their hair is thinning and hairline is receding. This idea that we don't care about our looks because we are a guy is ridiculous. Most of us don't get complimented, so if you do give us one, we'll remember it forever. When we say we don't care, we really don't care. Yes, we can have an opinion on something, but when we say we don't care, that means our opinion isn't strong enough to sway us either way on something. How much compliments mean to us. It's a different type of happy when a guy gets complimented. That men can sit for hours talking and talk about nothing. I really want to see if we'll get along well enough to date, but I'm horrible at maintaining a conversation without being too safe or too out there. Edit, award speech edit type beat. Sometimes we could use a hug. It's not that we're hiding things or we don't want to talk to you, but we actually are just thinking of nothing in particular sometimes. Edit, holy hell, this is the longest conversation advocating for and against nothing I've ever read. Edit, my first gold, I think. Thanks. For nothing? The feeling of getting kicked in the nuts or straight up right in the shaft that immobilizes you and leaves you in fetal position with the feeling of needing to throw up while at the same time having sharp radiating pain from your asshole through your neck. Edit, guess I can kind of explain it. An itch on my dick is way worse than an itch anywhere else. That sometimes we need personal space and it has nothing to do with our opinion of you. Why we bottle our emotions up. We appreciate women making the first move. 1. That I am simply not clairvoyant. You need to tell me what it is you really want. 2. If you're disappointed in something, say so. I can take it, as long as it's not number 1. We're still a human, so that's mean we have feelings too. So please take care when choosing your words when you're arguing with us. That the reason I shake the gas pump the amount of time I do after I finish pumping gas is the same reason I shake my dick after I pee. Sometimes, this is me personally, so I can't say it's common, the struggle not to share emotions isn't as much the worry of backlash from society or friends, etc. It's more just a conflict within ourselves to verbalize and come out with it. I trust my friends with respecting how I feel, I just can't get it out because I'm fighting myself. Edit, I'm glad this has helped some people focus a general feeling into a somewhat coherent thought. I hope someday we all can climb out of this better, people. As much as we're seen as sex-crazed pigs, we talk so little about women when we get together for drinks or something like that, and when we do, the topic doesn't last long. Literally can't even remember when was the last time me and my best bud talked about women. We're both single too. Just usually talking about our old friends from school and what they're doing, cars, our jobs, sport, or politics occasionally. From a gay dude's perspective, probably explaining that my sexuality doesn't mean I'm an expert on women's beauty stuff. I'll go shopping with you and give you my opinion on outfits, but I'm not some Paris fashion wizard because I get naked with other men. Speaking of which, I can do drag makeup. No, Cindy. That does not mean I'll do your makeup. Why? It's drag makeup, you will look like a clown fucked a real housewife. Is that what you want, Cindy? When you ask us what we're thinking about it and we say nothing, it's because we know you don't want to hear about ninja space dinosaurs. I'm seriously not checking you out every time you walk by in the office. I turn my head for damn near everything that enters my periphery. You're really not that special. When we say we need time or space, that's exactly what we need. It's not code for you need to try harder. My legs aren't spread to show dominance. They're spread because my scrotum is sticking to my thigh and it's super uncomfortable. But less uncomfortable than explaining this in public. If I don't jerk off, I can't think straight. I'll end up doing something stupid like invade Poland, start a megachurch, or buy a timeshare. Sometimes I'm just horny, but, in a committed relationship, sometimes I look at you and I'm just so in love that I want to be as close and intimate with you as I can, which is sex. My ex and I had different love languages, and she would worry that I don't love her as much as she loves me, which was just crazy because I was head over heels for her at all times. Trying to explain that really close, lovey sex was one of the ways I showed her exactly how deeply I was in love with her, but she didn't get it. We'd love to be able to share what is really on our minds, sexual and non-sexual, and every topic and viewpoint under the sun, except we're afraid of the relationship consequences. Your hints are obvious to other women. Not men. If it can be rationalized, it will. No, we're not getting jealous when you're dating someone to get our attention. We're thinking good for her. I'm glad she found someone. We're not thinking that you're trying to get our attention by hanging out with us, even when you specifically ask to be alone with us. We're thinking, wow, I'm so glad to have a friend who wants to hang out with me. Words matter. They're effective and leave no room for misinterpretation. Just say you want to date us. Us guys are trained not to assume a girl is into us. If we do and we're wrong, we're socially crucified. At worst, it could result in legal action, depending on the extent it went to. It's too dangerous for us to assume, so please don't make us. Edit spelling. Thank you everyone for your responses. No, you do not have superpowers that give you the ability to read my mind. Hearing you think makes my skin crawl. Bro culture. Women just have different relationships with their friends than men do, and it's hard to describe in rational terms how men's friendships work. We harass each other and are usually obnoxious, but would also break our backs for our brothers that we tease relentlessly. Too clean for the hamper, too dirty for the drawer. That's why I put my cargo shorts on the floor. When you ask me how my day was or what I did today, nothing in my day usually stands out as special, so I just don't remember. I usually don't remember what I do, I just live. We spread our legs so we don't crush our balls. The specifics of nod code. It's easy to say up if you know them, down if you don't, but the exact meaning of the downward nod is hard to translate. It's seeing them, acknowledging them, and saying that neither of us have any issue with each other. When asked, "What are you thinking about?" and we respond with nothing, we are literally thinking of nothing. Don't pee next to someone at the urinals. Always have a space between you and them. Just because I'm attracted to you doesn't mean I want to have sex with you. That emotional state of may. You're not great, you're not terrible, just may. Nothing is really wrong, you're just not really feeling it. For some reason, some folks interpret this as pissed off. They then continue to ask, "Why are you so mad?" Despite you answering against this. They keep doing asking until you actually get annoyed and angry. __. As a little boy, it was instilled in me that emotions were roadblocks to ultimate goals. Sad. Do something about it. Mad. Do something about it. Happy? Better keep doing that. Feelings are hurdles to jump over, and I can go a while before tripping. When I do trip though? Oh boy, does the memory of pain shoot through me like a bullet in the ass. I cry like a bitch about every hurdle up to that point, even though it was just one that made me fall. And because I don't fall too often, I don't really remember the procedure going about fixing the injury. You can load me on the stretcher and I might just roll out. You can give me a painkiller and I might just throw it up. Hell, I might be so traumatized by it all I might just stop running altogether for a while. This will probably get lost amongst all the comments. I think it is hard to explain to my wife how much I love her and the kids. I feel like words are not enough, and I work a lot, but I wish my feelings could just be transferred so she understands. Why our pride keeps us from doing certain things. Asking for directions or help are the common examples, but also not coming off as high maintenance or cheap. Things like not sending food back, not using small coupons, and being sheepish with large coupons. We don't know why either, but it tends to go away in our 30s and 40s. Also, health issue denial. I figured I had lung cancer for years before I found out what heartburn is. Never occurred to me to see a doctor or tell anyone. We're living an illusion and faking it until we make it, I guess. That we really don't care at all about what her friend Karen said behind her other friend Jessica's back. Why the TV volume must be set on a multiple of 5. Precisely how much a small tap to the nards hurts. Women have giving birth on the top of the pain threshold, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but too many women don't seem to understand just how sensitive those bits are. The concept of post-nut clarity, and the related power your boner has over you. Men, am I alone in knowing that you don't/shouldn't text any woman if you're horny/jerking off? It's okay to just tell me where you want to eat. I wouldn't know. I'm single as fuck. When we say we're doing nothing, nothing is not a void to be filled. Nothing is the activity, and we love doing it. Edit, and very often when you think we don't listen, it's because you gave ambiguous as fuck instructions. Edit 2, one more, yes, the common cold can completely knock us out. It's real swell that maybe you have a lesser reaction to it, but it can really kick out butt, so shut up about it. Valentine's Day is for the boys. Very often, we say something at its face value with no double meaning or alternative meaning behind it. It's women who ask me, "What did you mean when you asked/said that?" I said/asked exactly what I meant. If wanted to state it differently, I would have done so. Just because I'm bisexual, that doesn't mean I'm going to cheat on someone with a guy. For some reason, if you're a bi guy, a lot of women think that you are more likely to cheat. That we can in fact be thinking about literally nothing. Men are legitimately capable of breathing, while awake and responding to a conversation, and have our minds be blank and not thinking about anything. Just because we seem emotionless, doesn't mean we aren't feeling emotional. Happiness and furious anger are the only emotions that are socially acceptable for a man to show, without being called weak, gay, or effeminate. We have feelings that are just as real as yours. You can be so hot we get erectile dysfunction temporarily. Usually performance anxiety, but I've had it happen where a girl dropped her clothes and she was so hot I got nervous and couldn't perform. It sounds like us making you feel better. It's not. That sometimes your dick just gets hard for seemingly no reason. It just is. When the question "what are you thinking about?" gets answered with nothing. Like, I don't really want to explain how I just imagined what it would be like if I was in a zombie apocalypse and what I would do and where I'd hide. All the places I'd have to go, to get food, weapons and shit. How I just imagined if it was me in place of Will Smith and I Am Legend and what I'd do in his place. Stuff like that. It's easier to answer nothing than having to explain all of that and then get told you're weird, even though it's funny. That I don't feel like having sex right now. But you woke up with a boner. Yeah. That means you want to have sex. Sometimes. Not right now? Yeah. Not right now. You don't love me anymore. I have to pee. Sometimes I'm not in an emotional or mental state to be ready for the bedroom. I need romance to get me there sometimes too. Men aren't privileged. That I don't have a special privilege just because I was born male. Why? Because it is on sale, doesn't mean you need to buy it. That they are not oppressed, they are actually privileged, and it's actually men who are falling behind in education, who are being paid less. Childless women between 22 to 33 make more than men, and who do 63% more time for the same crime. Who pay the alimony and child support 80% of the time. I could go on more. But their feminist websites teach them that they are victims when they largely are not. Oh yay, CDC in 2014 said men were the victim in domestic violence too. That masturbation is healthy. Why we fear being wrongly accused of rape or another crime. I was wrongly accused of kicking a dog when I was 25 and, while my wife knows that, she can't truly understand what I went through in the legal system as a man. Feminist empowerment in Hollywood movies where tiny females take down men 3 times their size is not reality. Please don't try to fight us for real. Ever. Play fighting is fun, but most of you have no idea of our true masculine strength. Let's keep it that way. Playing online multiplayer games. You can't just pause in the middle of a first-person shooter while playing online, 9/10 you will die and or lose. Maybe this is just women in my life, but it's been most of them. In a situation that can't separate their wants/needs from what is good/bad. Woman, he is a bad person for not 100% realizing that, his son/daughter/family member / didn't help us when they should have. Me, do you really think he would prioritize us over his own family? Woman, yes, because we need resource/thing that is all or nothing, and all one way or the other / Me, they also want or need that too. Why would they just concede to us? Woman, because we are a good and strong family. Me, do you not understand they don't see it that way, that they see their family that way? Woman, well, obviously not. They are just bad people for even wanting, thing .. Me, then wouldn't we be bad people for also wanting, thing .. Woman, no, because they don't respect us. If they respected us, they would just give up. Thing /. I've seen this with custody, money in cases where there would be no reason for the other party to give it up, in cases where said woman would be putting in no work and expecting equal payout. The most egregious case was a few years back when I was helping my two aunt-in-laws, who lived together, move into a new house. 3 different women came to bitch us out for leaving the door open while we were moving things out of the house because we are cold. I looked at my father-in-law, he looked at me like what the actual fuck. I started to say, well, I guess you can. My wife cut me off, and said, would you rather have this stuff moved and be cold, or be warm and not get help? Because we are helping you, and if you don't like the help, then we can leave. They all started grumbling about how no one cares about women's feelings. Later, after my wife left, they came to complain again, and I said, do you think I'm not cold? Seriously, are you that narcissistic? She turned red and said, well, I just can't believe. And walked away. Literally not having any empathy for someone else's position when they are helping you, bitching you out for not doing it in a way that, at worst, makes them slightly uncomfortable. How many little breaks and accommodations society affords them that they don't notice and take for granted? Wanting sex from women isn't always about objectifying them, it's in our DNA. That leaving the toilet seat down is just as inconsiderate as not leaving it up. Silence isn't a bad thing. Just because we aren't talking doesn't mean we have nothing to talk about. I'm just taking a break because you flap your fucking yapper too much. I watched The View one time and immediately got annoyed and turned it off. Colbert was on there talking about something, I don't remember what, but being sarcastic as always. Sarcasm flew completely over their heads as they thought he was being serious. Then he makes the comment to fully point out how what they're saying makes no sense by saying so because it feels right. That makes it okay? Yes. Yes. OMG, yes. That's exactly it. You totally get it. Hands washed, I'm done. You can't reason with that type of mindset. People have died due to thought processes like that. I can't deal with overly emotional women. And it's not all women, so fuck off with that. Most of the women I've dated have been tomboyish, down to the earth, and almost super logical, and I love it. Because when one of us is wrong, we can out-logic the other person and we grow and get better from it. I can't handle people who do dumb shit, or just don't think, based on how they feel in that moment. Most of the time I end up just feeling confused and headachy. Don't want to use the word gaslit because that's too harsh, overused, and doesn't necessarily apply. But it's hard to reason with someone who isn't operating out of reason and does things purely on emotion or impulse. And most people think they're right and won't consider other viewpoints. So you're just dealing with lots of stalemates and nonsense that makes your head spin. Why I never called her that men are genetically physically superior. Try explaining that men might have it difficult at times. Maybe even worse than women. You can't pause my online game. Just because I'm not a woman doesn't mean I don't have a say in the abortion debate. It's so annoying when girls think they have it worse than men on a day-to-day basis, and when I try to explain to them that just because our problems are different doesn't mean yours are worse, they just don't understand. You aren't the victim of oppression nearly as much as you think you are, and you're hurting yourself by constantly dwelling on it. Why it's easier to pee on the floor and blame the dog than walk all the way to the bathroom mid-game. That the girl I cheated on her with was 18 in dog years. It's not manspreading. It's a fucking dick and balls in the way. Calm your tits. Why I want to fuck your butt so bad, but that I still love and respect you, and I'm not gay. We don't give a shit about a lot of stuff. Your house is dirty? We don't give a shit. You were 10 minutes late? We don't give a shit. Really, it's fine. A lot of things women are insecure about doesn't even cross our minds most of the time. Stop worrying so much. Whatever entirely detrimental disaster you have cooked up in your brain, we sincerely don't even notice. Just because you are mad at me doesn't mean I did something wrong, and just because I did something wrong doesn't mean you should be mad at me. Probably quantum field theory. It's what happens when you mix special relativity with quantum mechanics and variable particle count. There are extensions to general relativity, for example string theory, but QFT is the basis it's all built on and has empirical support. Might not be the most difficult to explain to a woman, but it's up there. Let's do the short list. What isn't? Manspreading while taking public transport, and some woman who wants to sit to the vacancy next to you tells you to close your legs so she can take it. Ma'am, I don't give a damn about what you want. Us men have a piece of spongy tissue hanging between our thighs, surrounded by myriads of nerve-ending and blood vessels, not to mention a pair of sensitive reproductive organs susceptible to pain if pressure is applied. If you don't understand our plight of sitting in a damn bus during rush hour, you better get off and call a taxi to provide you your desired comfort, you choosing beggar. P.S. A lot of these women are fat. I mean really, really fat. Marriage is the worst financial decision I can make. That I'm only here trying to help. There's not some devious ulterior motive to my providing aid. That may be the case with other men, but not me. That being said, I only really have one true female friend, and we've been BFFs for years. It's just such a struggle to get her to stop fighting me on every little thing I do to help. Everything. Females tend to not be logical and fact-oriented in their thinking. Using logic and facts or goals and milestones to explain a comes before becomes before see, gets you nowhere. So now it's easier to do it all myself and not bother trying to explain anything, because they hear what they want to hear but rarely what is actually said. That I think they look pretty but I don't want to rape them. That the more sexual partners they have, the looser their vagina. They refuse to believe and say things like, how does the vagina know it is 60 men one time each and not one man 60 time? Foolish women's. They should respect expert sign men/s. That men are different from women, in a way they can't understand, the reason why they're wrong. Comedy. That she's wrong. Thermostats. Smegma. I don't understand how, but it just exists. Feminism is sexism. We can't read your mind. We're simple stupid animals. Just tell us what you want. We'll give it to you. We're just hairless apes that want food, beer and sex. In no particular order. The difference between feminism and female privilege. Deleted. There is no wage gap.